I'm back, guys. Just here to talk about the news that's broken. Anthony Joshua to face Andy Ruiz Jr. in Saudi Arabia on December the 7th in a 70 million contest. Interesting. I've been having people been messaging me to do a video on this, so I thought let me just let's look at it. Let's see what it's about. Get my opinion on it, because I've been getting mixed opinion on it. Some people have been happy. Some people more. What I've been getting is a lot of critics. Why in Saudi Arabia? Money. So let's just see what they said. So Anthony Joshua will be heading to the Middle East on December the 7th as he deposes a heavyweight boxing champion, attempts to get back his belts from Andy Ruiz Jr. on neutral territory. It's understood the official announcement will be made and that Joshua will face Ruiz for the IBF, WBA and WBO and IBO titles. Saudi Arabia sports entities have been put up close to $100 million for the contest to be taken up there, according to sources. So that's not really fact, that's just the sources, isn't it? Because actually in the Eddie Hearn interview, Eddie Hearn said those numbers, I wish they were those numbers, but they weren't. But the money was lucrative, obviously. On a dramatic night, having been dropped to the canvas himself by Joshua in the third round, Ruiz then responded by feeling the Briton twice, dropping him 4 times for Mike Griffin stopped for bout. What else is there really to talk about this? Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because obviously Cardiff was the front runner. Cardiff was the front runner. MSG was up there. People were talking about Mexico. I heard Nigeria put in a bid. So we didn't really know what was going to happen, to be honest. You've got guys like Lennox Lewis suggesting that Mexico should be the place. And AJ appeared on the Sky Sports on the morning address, and he said, Ruiz, I've seen he's done a lot of talking about what he wants, but he don't call the shots in that sense. It's a team effort, Joshua says. It's fine, I don't mind fighting him in America. I've done it before, and I'm glad to fight him here because I have no reason to go in the first place. I went there off my own back, so for the rematch now, I would love it to be in Cardiff. However, it's going to be on neutral ground. Ruiz is the champ, or kind of make some calls in that situation. I'm going to battle for it to be in the UK because it's my stomping ground. I've done out there, so let's do the rematch here. I think it'll be amazing before this year is out, and I'll definitely be having a lovely New Year's with my family. You know what it is as well? This was done, and a lot of people, when I saw that interview, I assumed, yep, Cardiff it is. You understand? Why not? It makes sense for Joshua. It makes sense for Robert McCracken and the team. It makes sense for Eddie. Easy to sell. That will sell easy. MSG makes sense as well. Money's good. Ruiz is happy. And right or wrong, easy to sell. So Middle East was quite an interesting one. And that interview came out a couple of days, and then obviously we got the announcement that it's in the Middle East. So you've got to, Eddie Hearn said it was sorted out in a matter of a couple of days. So I'm assuming Eddie Hearn obviously got an approach from the Middle East, and he wouldn't know if it was that serious. So at that time, it's still Cardiff as the head lead. He got probably an approach from the Middle East, and he's not too sure if it's serious. Obviously, we've confirmed now that the money was serious, so it must have been a very crazy amount of money. That Eddie Hearn thought they ain't got that money. They're just doing this to waste time. Because this thing dragged on for ages. I thought maybe Ruiz found a loophole in the contract, because this was dragging on for long. I mean, this should have been announced ages ago, to be honest. But I think Hearn was waiting for the Middle East to really put up this money and show it to them, maybe send them the money or whatever it is, because he said that they did put it out a while ago, but then he can only confirm it now that it was legit. So it's interesting. In terms of my opinion on it, I don't think it has any bearing on the fight personally. I mean, I think it benefits Joshua only because he goes to Dubai a lot. He's kind of used to those kind of countries. It's not going to be particularly that hot. It's going to be 20 degrees. It's in December. I think Ruiz, the time clock might be different for Ruiz, but it was different for Joshua. It shouldn't make a difference in the fight. He's going to still do preparation in Big Bear, get himself into good shape. He's talked a lot so far. people have questioned, has the fame got to his head? You know, he's bought in mansions, bought in cars. You know, he's talking about, Joshua making, he's talking a lot, to be honest. And he came in the first fight very humble, holding Joshua's belt like a fan. So the game has changed. You can see what money does to you. Would I have a bear on the fight? You know, he said, I'm going to get slim and all this, you know. And I got people saying, wow, he's going to be faster, he's going to hurt Joshua. And I said to myself, look, Ruiz is those kind of guys that when you're big and you're kind of flabby, you take the punch better. From what I think, anyway. So if he tries to strip that fat for the rematch to look good, wouldn't necessarily fight good. We're gonna see. I'm not gonna do a fight prediction. I'm not gonna do a fight review until maybe coming towards December, November time. You know, and let the fight marinate. Things might change. We might change it. We might even change location. You never know. Because Hearn was quick to when he talked about the Amir Khan fight, he was saying, I'm glad I'm not involved in that. You know, this is a joke. But he's now quick to go back there to do his thing. So it's an interesting one. I'm gonna agree with the fans and say I think it was very money orientated. Are they cashing in on Joshua? I don't think so. Joshua's made a lot of money already. Does he need to necessarily cash in? Even if he lost to Ruiz, it will still be a big draw. So it's I don't think it's that, but I just think that the money was too good to deny, and I think Ruiz was crying and whining about the Cardiff. So it just made it easier to just, Eddie Hearn still has a bit of control with the referee and the judges, but Ruiz is happy that it's not the UK because it's not too much control. You get what I'm saying? So it's an interesting one. And yeah, that's really it. In Saudi Arabia, Joshua said it doesn't matter where it is, I'll whip him. He said I'll whip him in the first. He said it, lead up to the first fight, I'll whip him. I don't think Joshua knows what means because you got whooped, to be honest. And so, you ain't made any, he hasn't said he's been any psychological problem. He's not been something happening in the change room. It's literally, I watched the video on Joshua reacting to his own fight with on JD and JD Sports, and he said he was thinking about the Wilder knockout, and he heard people booing in the crowd and blah blah blah. There's no excuse, Josh. There's no excuse. You've been here before, and I think he's focused and ready. I saw a picture, he stripped off a lot of muscle, and I think he's really focusing more on the technique. Will this be a very an outclassing in terms of skill? We're gonna see. But I'm not gonna talk too much on the fight. But it's in Saudi Arabia. What do you guys think? I know people are gonna be annoyed because they can't travel. I don't really care. I'm gonna watch it on TV anyway. It's gonna be at 9:30 UK time. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm just looking forward to the fight. To be honest, it's gonna be a good fight. And we'll talk closer to the date.